just today, I posted a video about my new TikTok fan base, and one of the people in chat said, "Watch out, Vosh. The TikTok people are a double-edged sword. They may like you now, but they will cancel you over anything." And I didn't think much of it initially because I don't care. But then I saw a comment a little bit down below where somebody said, "Just wait until the TikTok Zoomers see that Vosh has said the N word." Pepe laugh. And then all the comments responding to it were, "Wait, he did what?" So I'm going to get out ahead of this one. And I'm actually going to do a very brief retrospective of all of the cancellation I have ever been subjected to over the course of this stream. I just thought it'd be a nice refresher, you know? I'm not ashamed of or afraid of any of my history, and I thought it could be a good... So for all of you who are aware of all of this, yeah, it's a lore stream. If you're aware of this, just sit back and laugh at those who, Pepe laugh, lack critical information. And if any of this bothers you, you don't have to watch me. Totally okay if you don't want to. I started my YouTube channel at the beginning of 2019 after having been a prominent chatter in the community of one Destiny over on Twitch, a person who does very similar things to me, just, you know, not a leftist. He's a debate bro as well. I was prominent in his community as a left-leaning user, and bouncing off the popularity I got from a member of his community, after speaking with Hassan and H-Bomber Guy and a bunch of other background stuff, I started a channel initially creating prepared content that I actually edited, God forbid, but then started doing live streams. The live streams started out small, 10, 20, 30 viewers, but quickly started to get into the low hundreds, and I was beginning to get a little bit of prominence. The prominence that I had gained was, if not cut short, at the very least abated by a severe bit of drama that took place that is now, in retrospective, known as the Poppy or the sexual harassment drama. Essentially, back in late 2017 and early 2018, I had a friend in Destiny's Discord named Poppy, and we were just internet friends, like we just talked. And over the course of our friendship, I was pretty fucking weird and creepy with her. Totally, 100%. The logs are publicly available somewhere out there in the ether. For completely unrelated reasons, we stopped talking in early 2018, and that was the end of it for about 2 years. The drama resurfaced and was made public just a few months after I started streaming, and in the fallout, I went on Destiny's stream and did a very poor job contextualizing the way in which I had had those inappropriate engagements. So I was booted from Destiny's community, and that drama has stuck with me pretty substantively. I did do my best to fully contextualize that drama in a Reddit post that I wrote out, God, like 8 months ago, called A Retrospective on the Sexual Harassment Drama. Now, and I will say this, yeah, exclamation point Poppy in chat. Now, I will say this right off the bat. If you want the totality of an understanding of an event like this, you can't just rely on my take on the issue, obviously. But look at everything I typed out. Damn, so convincing. I spent a lot of time on that. The issue that I had was, though I recognize and completely own up to the fact that my behavior was inappropriate back then, I think that it metastasized and a lot of people started accusing me of doing things that I hadn't done. Just imagine you were inappropriate or creepy in 2017 or something, and then in 2019 there are people prominently calling you a rapist for that same section of drama. Clearly, I mean, that's how stuff like this works on the internet, but you have to put your foot down eventually with regard to how far the rumors spread. So that's the first big one. Shortly thereafter, I was streaming on Twitch. I was having a good old 200, 300, 400 concurrent viewers. And then I had a very heated stream where I was talking about an article that had been written by a far-right Israeli man who was talking about the moral impetus of Israelis to tread over the Palestinians. Essentially, the article was like, Palestinians have no right to this land, they're subhuman, we should just mow over them. It was Really, really bad. The article was horrendous. And while reading that article, I said something along the lines of, quite heatedly, America should stop sending bombs to Israel and should drop bombs on Israel instead. Now, obviously, the contextual intricacies of the Israel Palestine conflict are, I think, not only a very heated subject, but they're also very, very nuanced. So I assure all of you that back then and now, my understanding of the situation is a little more nuanced than what if we just bombed Israel. That wasn't actually a super serious policy like suggestion that I was making, but I was heated. And then my Twitch stream was permanently banned. Whoop. So I went to YouTube. And while I was at YouTube, my following continuing to slowly grow, because I'd like to think that I'm good at what I do, we had the second largest snafu of drama, one that also continues to haunt me to this day, which is broadly known now as the Thought Slime drama, though I imagine different people call it different things. Essentially, what happens is that for the entirety of my streaming and even pre-streaming career, for as long as I've been politically involved, there's been a very particular type of leftist that has always bothered me. I call them now, rather derivatively, the woke scold. These are, and I talked with ContraPoints about this just like 2 or 3 days ago. This isn't just my opinion. There's a particular type of leftist online, usually on Twitter. They're usually young. They tend to be queer. That is a thing. I mean, I'm queer. I can say it. I can say the Q slur. They tend to be queer, and they're very, they have a giant stick up their ass. They are very morally pure, very interested in condemning other leftists for not adhering to a very specific archetype of what leftists are supposed to behave. Guys, the Q slur thing was a joke. Jesus Christ, queer isn't a slur anymore. We're woke, okay? So that was a community that always bothered me. It bugs me because I'll be debating like actual Nazis. I'll be like duking it out over there. And like afterwards, I'll flippantly like call one of them the R slur. Retard. And what I had noticed was, because I used that word more often back then, what I had noticed was the people online who I now call woke scolds would completely ignore everything that I was doing in the debate, like all of the progressive advocacy, all of the defending marginalized communities, and then they would just narrow in. They would just dunk in on that specific thing, the aesthetics of reactionary language, rather than the actual politics that I was engaging in. It was very frustrating for me. So I had this frustration with me, and I felt like I couldn't talk about it, because every time I talked about it, there were people in chat who would disagree, and I'd get frustrated, and I love arguing with my chat, but some subjects are better discussed than argued, and essentially, after a very brief Twitter interaction with Thought Slime, which led to him blocking me, it really was nothing. It was like something about gender abolitionism. I genuinely don't remember it that well now. But after that block, a bunch of Thought Slime fans came over to like shit talk me. And one of them was like, I remember this so vividly because I stayed up late at night, like tweeting to respond to this one person, like 50, 100 tweet lines down this conversation. And it was the same, it was a loop. It was the loop over and over again. And it was this person saying, you should listen to your trans community. You should listen to trans people. You shouldn't be doing this or that. And then I would say, I have a massive trans community and they are okay with me doing this or that. So who do I listen to? And then they would respond, you need to listen to trans people. It would like, it was frustrating. And I fell asleep frustrated and I woke up frustrated. And then the next morning I did what is now known as the Thought Slime stream or the Meltdown stream, which was just 4 hours of me like raging out at this community of people online. Which involved quite a few things that have been interpreted as transphobic. I would defend them as jokes, but as we know in the lefty community, those things are not necessarily mutually exclusive. But it was a heated stream. It was very heated, and I did say a lot of really shitty things during that stream. I'm not defending it, but I'm not here to defend every single thing I've done or said. I'm only here to recount every single thing that I've done or said that's got me canceled. Hyena, I am not entirely sure. I don't know why you're asking me. I am not a tech support person, but I believe in you, and if you clear your browser cache, it will do other things to your computer. You should really talk to somebody else. Um, tech support aside, I've been banned off Twitch. I've been banned off Twitch. I've been canceled by the online lefty thought slime community. How much further down can we go? We're not even fucking started, okay? Next up, the kill stream. It's a Nazi stream. That's it. It's a Nazi stream. They do shows and they're Nazis. That's the gist of it. Lefties don't tend to go on that stream. I will no longer ever go on that stream again. I think I've gotten everything I can out of it. But I went on that stream and I debated 3 Nazis for 3 hours, give or take. And I nailed it. I nailed it. The whole time, stone-faced, defending you and me, because, you know, it's not like they'd leave me alone. I did phenomenally. But in doing phenomenally, I said the N-word. Hard R, too. Like I really enunciated it. That video is still public. And I left a comment under that video explaining why I had chosen to do that. Because it was something I chose to do. It wasn't some angry outburst. It was a decision that I made. Essentially, these people were throwing around the N-word here and there, like all over the place. Nazis, you know? What are you going to do? And I had noticed that at one point, one of the Nazis, perhaps the most obnoxious one, had begun instead saying the N-word, like actually N-word, rather than the actual slur. And he had kept doing that. And I said, what? Don't you mean? And then I said the N-word. The reason why I did that was because the reason why types like that use slurs so flippantly isn't just because it's the only thing they can jerk off to. It's also because they're trying to unnerve us sensitive, fragile lefties. So by showing that I am legitimately not unnerved or intimidated by the N-word, I felt as though I could unnerve them. And I did, because they were silent for a while afterwards, and the pace of the conversation changed in my favor after that point. I still defend that use, but I understand some people might be offended by it. I recognize that. Move forward 1 or 2 months, and I have a conversation with a man known as Vegan Gains. He's a vegan, he's a bit of a reactionary, and he's a very muscular man. Very nice body. Won't deny, hard work put into those muscles, gotta respect it. We had a conversation about capitalism, intersectionality, and, you know, I don't even know what led to it exactly, but child pornography. Love it or hate it, you probably hate it, and that's a good thing. The subject came up. And it was exploitation. I believe it was exploitation. That's right, I remember the context now. The argument that I was making was that we have made child pornography illegal in this country because in order to produce child pornography, you have to hurt children. Make sense? Right. My argument was, well, hey, if you agree with that, hey, Hyena, welcome back to the chat. If you agree with that, well, right now, if you want to wear a t-shirt and you want to buy it from a common retailer, you're paying into a production chain that has, if you're lucky, child exploitation at its core, if not outright child slavery. The world is not a great place when it comes to workers' rights. And the argument that I was making essentially was that the logic you could make to morally condemn the people who consume child pornography could at least be reflexively applied in some instances to other commodities we consume. This actual shirt, by the way, was made ethically. It's from goodsforthepeople.com. I love their content. Very comfortable. Only $25. Shipped from Russia. Great stuff. But most shirts. Now, a lot of, and that was clipped or something like that. A lot of people have extrapolated from this that I am in favor of child pornography. In order for me to be in favor of it, I would also have to be in favor of mass child labor exploitation, judging from the analogy I was making. So that's kind of a weird thing to assume from a leftist. Or they make the assumption that I'm arguing that child pornography should be made legal. This is very, I don't know. People go, in a lot of wacky directions with this. My general argument then and my general argument now are exactly the same. We seem inconsistent in the extent to which we're concerned with the negative externalities for the commodities we purchase. That's it. That's all it is. It's very easy to morally condemn child pornography because it's abhorrent, but when you try to apply that logic a little bit further, you try to extend it a little bit, you get to some really uncomfortable, like, conclusions really quickly, like, well, why is CP bad? Well, children have to be hurt to make it. Okay, what about, like, the rare earth metals that are mined up in Africa that we use in a lot of our electronics? In that case, I just want people to think more conscientiously about the production lines involved in the creation of the stuff we consume. That's it. I think we've passed the halfway mark. Moving on from that particular chunk of drama, we, man, what would that have been? That would have been back in August? We had the JLP interview, we moved forward, and I think the next thing that happened was I had my very first debate with Sargon of Akkad. It didn't go particularly well. I think I could have done a lot better controlling my temper. In fact, the Sargon of Akkad debate was such an extraordinary example of how a poor temper can hurt an argument that since that day I have never actually felt anger again. I fixed myself. If you want to see how that looks in practice, watch the first Sargon debate, or as far into it as you can get, and then watch the second Sargon debate a few months later. The difference is pronounced. We had the ourselves a debate. Later on into late 2019, there was a little bit of drama surrounding something called YouTube blackout. It was an idea like to protest unfair behavior on the part of YouTube. A bunch of lefty creators would stop posting for a few days. I want you to really think about how effective that is. Just really think about that for a second. Yeah, me either. So I didn't participate in it. Some people got mad at me for that. Sorry. It was a stupid idea. Nope. I'm not doing it. And the end of the year rolled around, and then there was the second Sargon debate. That was fine for me. I think that went just fine. And have I covered Big Meaty Paws? Oh, I forgot that tweet. That's so far back. That the Big Meaty Paws tweet has been supplanted by the Thought Slime stream. I feel like it replaced it, you know, or it's just been added to a pile. And I addressed most of the pile. And let me think. Oh yeah, a little while into 2020, a fan of mine posted an edited clip of the Thought Slime stream, which I had privated after I made it because that was not a good stream, and posted it, and it got some traction, and people got real huffy over it. But I've already covered that drama, and I responded to it, and I have a video specifically where I go over that clip, that stream, everything, called, in all exclamations, am I a crypto-fascist? Question mark, parentheses, not clickbait. And it's not. We actually answer the question. The answer is no, I'm not a crypto-fascist. Moving a little bit further, I think we're almost up to the present day. I had the black nationalism drama. Essentially what happened is, following a tweet done by a black man saying that Anne Frank was a Karen, or like complaining about like Jews hogging the spotlight when black people are the real oppressed people or something like that. Or Becky, sorry, it was a Becky. My apologies. Really a weird thing to say. But it got a lot of traction. And I feel like this is ever more prescient right now because Ice Cube on Twitter is unironically doing Luis Farrakhan anti-Semitism black Nazi bullshit. So it's really, really prescient for us to specifically target this subject right now. Essentially, I thought these people, now I called them black nationalists at the time, were basically just Nazis. The reason for this is because they're basically just Nazis. Luis Farrakhan is a Nazi, he's just black. You want to go look into Luis Farrakhan's like policies? anti-Semitism, the Jewish question, Jews control the media to destroy the black race, except this time instead of the white race. Ancient revival of ancestral glory in Africa. We need to form a black ethno-state. Blacks are superior to all other races. The whole 9 yards, you know? It's just a black Nazi. Just turn the white stuff into black stuff, and you've got it. And I said, I want to debate these black nationalists. The issue is black nationalism has a colloquial and academic definition, which does not necessarily refer to that type of person. Black nationalism can just mean the bolstering of black communities in like America. Like, it's not a separatist thing necessarily. There's a lot of ambiguity with regards to the language there, and I still don't like the term black nationalism. It's just really ambiguous. I mean, even if the term is history, like optics are optics, you know. But yeah, anyway, I got in this kerfuffle with one of the people in my Discord who was a black nationalist. I feel like 5 minutes in, I recognized that we were using different definitions, and I tried to roll with that, but it still got me in hot water with a lot of people on Twitter who seemed to think I was anti-black or I was a white moderate or something, when the only statements I was making were stuff like, ethno-states are bad even if black people are the one making them. You know, like real controversial stuff like that. But I think I'm mostly over that, and I even ended up talking to a few of the people who had shit-talked me on Twitter, and we reconciled things kind of behind the scenes, so that's good. Immediately before the black nationalism drama, I called out Sean on Twitter for being a Bernier buster. I'm voting for Biden over here. Very complicated sociological reasons for it. The main reason being, I'm not dumb. It's the right thing to do. It does not halt our cause towards socialism. It's just objectively better, and I've made this argument with a bunch of people, and I'll keep making this argument the closer we get to November. And I felt like Sean was being a weaselly little cunt about it on Twitter. So I called him out. Some people got mad at me over that, but that's just me holding to my principles. And that about covers... Oh, yes, lest I forget. This is, I think, the most recent one, the secret lolly rape porn Twitter. I have a second Twitter account that goes way back before my professional one. It's just my art/porn account. I posted some art there, and I just like look at like porn artists that I like. You know, the good shit. Trust me, and I need to assure you of this now, okay? It was the good shit, okay? The good porn. I only do the highest quality. Line work, the coloring, it's all good, okay? Anyway, I had this Twitter account just out there, thousands of images liked. Anime, shit fucking hot, big ass anime boobies, fat fucking pussy, the meaty stuff, you know, the whole 9 yards. Because I love it. I used to draw porn. I like drawn porn. I don't even jerk off this stuff. I just appreciate the artwork. And sometimes jerk off to it. Anyway, I can only describe them as pathologically degenerate fuckwads went through thousands of my liked images and found that some of them were of anime characters that in the shows the anime characters are pulled from are like 16. Now, I could write a treatise on how stupid this is from the get-go, or how creepy it is to dig through my shit like that to that outcome. But I don't really want to. And there are some people. It was like 2 images of like 3,000 like it's crazy. I'm just going through my feed. I just like flip. Those are some nice titties. Bat. Flip. Damn, the ropes of cum right there are looking pretty juicy. Bat, like. But anyway, some of these people called me like a pedophile. You know, they were like, Vosh is collecting child pornography on his secret account. It's like okay. I guess I can't really like defend myself in that. Like, if you think that's cancel worthy, I don't know. It never actually got traction. They really tried. The people were like retweeting and posting and trying to signal boost, but it didn't really gain traction. Probably because and bestiality because drawn horse porn. Oh, there were horse dicks in there too. Absolutely, big drawn meaty horse dicks. If anyone who watches my content takes issue with my appreciation of horsecock as an aesthetically superior option in drawn media to human penises, then you don't have to enjoy my content. That's fine. Listen, it's not for you. Okay, my content isn't for you. And I think that almost catches us up. I think that almost catches us up. In fact, there's only one more subject for which some people are attempting to cancel me, which actually just happened yesterday. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But that's fresh drama. First time introduced to the stream. So that'll be in a separate video. You're watching this on YouTube right now. Not you fuckers, but you are. And you're going to get the video cut off here. But the next video will be in the most recent cancellation. All I have to say to you is this. I am and always have been a contentious person. I'm edgy, I talk quickly, and I talk a lot. It is an unfortunate reality that if you do live content, if you do live contentious content where for hours every day, you're debating some of the worst people online, you're engaging with some of the most intricate, nuanced, and complicated subjects available for humans to discuss, invariably some of the stuff you do is going to upset people. And if any of those things upset you to the extent that you don't think it's worth continuing to follow me, that's totally okay. Seriously, I'm not shit-talking you, okay? Because this stuff's going to keep happening, okay? There are a lot of fans of mine who have told me it's difficult for them to say that they're fans of mine because they get canceled by their Discord friend group or something. But you know what? I'm getting fewer of those emails, even though I'm getting more fans. Because the larger and stronger I get, the more people begin to realize that these aberrant incidents are nothing compared to the overwhelming totality of good that I try to do for this platform every single day that I'm on here. And that is the standard by which I would like to be held. Now we talk about the new drama. YouTube out.